Hi and welcome to Phoenix Crypto. My name's Andy and welcome to another edition of Market Watch. Now, first thing is sincere apologies for not producing a lot of videos lately. I've not been well, had COVID, and it's kind of set me back a little bit. But I'm now starting to come out of it, and let's get back to some videos. So if you like the content, press the like button, subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate the support. So what is going on? Well, the first or the major thing that really has been going on, this is on the 4 hour time frame, is clearly we have massively broken out over the last few days. Big pump here, and you can see a long period of consolidation. Say long period, but it's probably a couple of days. Still a lot of sideways movement, difficult trading conditions, typical bull flag, and then nice pump last night. Sadly, I was asleep for it. You can see that I've got some auto trend lines in red here that have been drawn, so you can see if I zoom in here that they are providing some support and resistance, as you'd expect. I think the other thing that is probably significant is, firstly, this did end up being the bottom, okay, which it was never fully clear, I guess, until we started really moving up over here, that it was. You can see I've got here, this is a 20 EMA, so on a 4 hour you can see that we broke above, and then we've retested, stayed above, came down, retested that, and then broken down below, and we've carried on. And you can see this is providing dynamic support and resistance here. I think the yellow is the 50, and I think the pink there is the 100, and this light blue is the 200. Okay, so you can see how it is providing dynamic support and resistance. You can see how the 100 provided a bit of resistance there, broke above, and actually in doing so, this pump was so good it broke above the 200. So I think that's extraordinarily bullish. 6 hour, you can see we're just resting on that 200. And as we go through the various time frames, you can see the 200 is slightly further away. Now, I think if we are actually out of this now, you know, if this small period is nothing more than just a bit of a lull in the market, a bit of consolidation, a natural correction, and we're going on to bigger and better things, then I will expect that we will just keep on going for each of these lines at 200 EMA on the 8 hour, then we'll move on to the 12, and we'll see that's just below 46k. I wish it was 56. And then obviously onto the daily, which is the next significant. Now you can see here on the daily we are just on the 50 EMA. We've got the 100, which is just below 46, and a little bit below 47 we got the 200. So these really are the really important levels that we need to be really looking for. And I think, you know, to see us move up through this, it's like going through the gears a little bit. This would be extraordinarily bullish to see us get there. This obviously, this been this lovely looking candle here, but is that enough? Is that it? You know, I'm not quite sure. And then if we look on the weekly though, you can see, let me zoom down here, that actually the 200 conversely is actually, we've stayed well below that 200, and we've now got the 100, which ended up providing support here at the bottom, and then we are coming up to the 50 and then the 20, and you can see that really by 47k we'll be pretty much over all of these really important points, and then we can move up. If I go to this chart, you can see here, so here we've got the bull market support band, and we got the 200 weekly SMA. In fact, that's not the weekly, that's the weekly. And you know, this is just under $20,000. And really what I was thinking about, I think I might have put it on a video not that long ago, was whether we would just come down to retest that. And if we did, that would be extraordinarily bullish. And after retesting it, we'd be going pretty parabolic. So you can see here, that was a very big test. And look at that run. That was not quite as big a test, but we've tested it there, tested it again there, and gone on a very good run. You can see here, this was a ridiculous test, ridiculous run. And look at that test there, and we tested it here, tested it here, tested it here, tested it here. You know, it's more than 4 times really, and off we went. So I was actually looking for us to come down. Now, I've no doubt that we will come down, no doubt at all. It is more a question of when, not if. Now, we've got a number of hurdles to get across. So firstly, we are at here an EMA. So I can't remember what I'd set that to. I've got it down as an 8. I'm not sure why I've done that, but you can see we are testing that. We are very close to testing that. Let me change that to more of a 20. So that pretty much is alongside the bull market support band. So again, you can see there, that's about 46.7, which is a very common number when I've gone through some of the time frames. So you can see how the same numbers are coming up. So that tells me, you know, this is significant. I think we will retest that. I do think we'll retest that. So I'd be looking for us to get up to just shy of $47,000. Whether we break above it is another matter, because you can see that we've tested it here and then capitulated. Really, that's quite a big drop since we retested it. You know, second time of asking, you know, we didn't quite retest it here, but it was close enough. And then we moved down, and then when this started really moving up, you know, we got through it no problems. Will we do the same? Right? Will we do the same? And that'll be the big question. I think the other thing really, and I'll pick up Fu Manchu here, VMC, Morpheus. Let's just put on the weekly. Well, actually, just before we go on to the monthly, green dot on the weekly, VWAP above the 0 line. Obviously, that needs to confirm, so another week. But you know, the week started well so far, so there's nothing to think that we're not going to go up. If this continues up, then and that confirms, then we could be in for another good couple of weeks. So which will be great. Going to the monthly. The monthly red dot confirmed in December, you know, so that a couple of months ago now. VWAP well below, is flattened there. You know, what will be very interesting is by the end of February, are we looking to come back up again? Now, if I was to go onto the weekly, but just pretend it's the monthly, see if I can find a good, you know, what I'm wondering about here is you get a red dot, we dip down, but we then have this nice green, and we go up to a good price, and then we come down a little bit, and then we get the green dot, and then we go up a bit, and that would have taken us to another. So price, you can't see it on here, but price will have been, you know, so, you know, look at that. If I look at that red dot here, you know, we come down slightly, but then look at that green dot, we then go up loads, you know, we get the red dot on here, we come down a bit, and we, you know, so what I'm wondering, okay, on a monthly scale, if I go back to the monthly, okay, back to zoom in, you know, we've got the green dot, there's a red dot somewhere over here. We've come down, we've got a green dot, we've gone up and hit an all-time high, red dot, you know. Now, what is going to happen next? You can see this here. Okay. Does that weekly mean that actually, you know, it might take a little bit of time, but actually we might end up printing a green dot somewhere, you know, maybe like here, you know, let's make that green. Can't really see it. There we go. Green. We got a lovely green dot, you know, and are we going to get one more green dot before we get, you know, and we go up, so hit a new all-time high, and then we have one final red dot, and then bear market, and we're you know, going straight down to over here. You know, don't worry about the time frames, but you get the idea. Is that what I think we could be looking at? I'm not sure. You know, we've got the weekly green dot, which we've seen. There we go, lovely green dot. I think I'd be very interested to see how the 2 week pans out, and obviously sometimes it just takes time for these time frames to really kind of you know, mature. So, you know, that looks like a nice trigger wave there. You know, bear in mind, look at this. You know, get into November here, and look, you know, that was when we got the all-time high, got the red dot, come down. You know, that's angling up. You know, we haven't quite got the crossover yet to get the green dot, but you know, maybe another 4-6 weeks, we might get one on the 2 weekly. You know, the monthly might take a little bit longer. So what this could mean is you know, this could be a continuation of the bull market. It really could be. On the flip side, if we go back to the monthly, right, it could ignore what the weekly's doing, and the weekly could, you know, go up for a little bit and then have a red dot quite quickly after, and then it capitulates further down, right? You know, this could be a breather in a downward trend. This could be just a pullback. So there's a lot of unanswered questions around what is really happening on the macro, and I don't think it's yet clear. I do think getting over 47k will be very significant. You know, it's one of those moments where I think as we hit 47k, I think it might be worth a short. You know, we might have a rejection, you know, consolidate for a bit, and then have another attempt. If we can close above, and we break above that, then I think we can probably expect you know, a really good move going further up. You know, if I go back to here, you know, zoom in, let's go to a daily or something, but you can drawing random lines, as I like to do. Let's get rid of that. You know, you can see here the yellow line here. I mean, we do it, you know, look, when we touch it, we go parabolic. You know, we've touched it, gone up. I mean, this is obviously on the daily, not even on the weekly. But you can see big moves happen after touching it. You know, so you know, we can see that price does get drawn back to these levels at some point. They always get drawn back to these levels. You know, so I think that's quite significant. I think the other thing to probably say is that this 200, I mean, you can see the direction of the 200 SMA. It is moving up, right? The beginning weeks, I mean, if I go back, you know, I don't know when 200 weeks ago was, but, you know, if I look at this price as an example, you know, it's clearly, you know, in the hundreds of dollars. And, you know, as you replace some of those with, you know, where we're over $40,000 or $50,000, you know, that's gonna keep this trending up quite massively, you know. So I think this is significant. I really do. And I think getting this retest will be very interesting, and to see how it reacts. I think the other thing to probably look at is the MACD. Now, I'm not a particularly big fan of the MACD here. On the daily, you can see we had a crossover end of January, and we've gone pretty north since. So you can see that. So you got the fast line, slow line, you know. So you can see that. So that looks very positive. When you look at the weekly, I think we are just curving round now on this, and you can see the lighter colours, and I think, you know, you can see that, you know, if the current trajectory, which, you know, you can see it doesn't always, you know, it can dip slightly, but largely, you know, I think we can turn and say that was the bottom, and we can go back up. If I look at the 2 weekly, this is not showing anything really yet, and I think this one has got another 6 days to finish before it closes. That isn't going to show us anything. I think it's going to be the next 2 weeks. So we're talking 3 weeks from now before I think we see a lighter coloured candle. So these are some of the things I think to be looking at. I think certainly you can use some of these as perhaps some indicators for spot purchases. You know, I think that is perfectly viable. You know, I think in terms of what's going to happen, you know, in the next day or 2 days, you know, that kind of thing, I think we've got, this is the wrong chart really to be doing this on. Let's just flick to the to this, go on the weekly, and then I'll talk a little bit about what I think is going to be happening across in the very short term. So, you know, you can see here we're getting towards, I wouldn't quite say the bottom, but we're in the lower half. You know, that's quite clear. You can see a bounce though, pretty much, you know, maybe not exact, but fairly close, and we've moved back up. You know, you can see that around 45k, give or take, is going to be that where the next curve where we might meet. You know, this depending on where we hit it, we are talking getting, well, gosh, towards the high 50s. So, you know, we've got quite a bit of room to go. I think what you can say is there is definitely a lot more upside. I think it's probably also safe to say, I think these moments where we're hitting the 200 SMA there were very much bear markets. So we've got, you know, a big drop before we get to that point. So a lot more upside really to go. So just looking at, you know, what's happening right now, I'll go back to the 4 hour. I think there's a couple of things. These could be just slight pullbacks and consolidation periods. I think if I see another one act in a very similar way where we're going sideways, you know, then I might think we've got another leg up. The fact that we're over these lines are very significant. The only thing I'll say is this has been quite a nice pump, you know, a move up. At some point, we will obviously retrace. Now you got to remember, you know, these lines are like magnets for price. Eventually, price comes back down to meet them, and it's just a matter of when, not if. So these will slowly rise because price is now back above, you know, so that's good. But price will come down to meet, test, retest, and move back up, you know, or you know, move below, you know, that, you know, of course that happens. So I think for the time being, it's to really look and see, you know, do we think there's any more upside, or do we think a small correction is in order? You know, you can see that we've attempted there. We're now in this channel, and it'll be interesting to see how much support this provides. So I think that is significant. One thing I probably will say is the channel that I think we broke out of here and put that on, I think that's dead now for the time being. I think that's completely dead. I think interesting that when we pumped, we really broke out of it. That was quite a big move considering. And I think it really, getting above. If I zoom in here, what was the for people trying to look at what do I do the next time, and I think this bit is the significant. Oh, where's my line gone? I think this bit is the significant bit. And why do I think that's significant? Simply because I think it's where we've broken above the 20 and the 50 EMA, retested, and actually you can see there was a wick below where I think we were consolidating. I don't know what time frame, might be on the week, on the hourly. We were consolidating, and then if you had your classic Bollinger Band, we would have broken down below, and then I think it lasted 2 candles. So it looked like it was going to be a capitulation, possibly, but it didn't, and then it quickly reversed, and after it reversed, it just skyrocketed. So you can see how important the testing of these and breaking above these is. That's not to say that every single one gets this, right? We broke above, closed, but we did get a move, but not the move. We broke above here, we moved up. We did break above here, but although we did move up, obviously, we then reversed. So you can see that the tracking. So now the next thing, really random lines again I'm drawing. The next thing I'd be really trying to track is at what point do I think we're going to come back to meet these again? And that's going to be the significant piece. I think the other element is we always thought 40k was going to provide a lot of support, and it did. I think was it here, and we got an immediate bounce up, right? And then when we tested a second time, look at that. That's a massive capitulation. So I think what would be bullish would be for us to be retesting around the 40k mark again. Now, is that going to hold? We can only move up if it holds. So I think at some point we're going to come back down. If I look at VMC here for a second, look, that VWAP is coming down nicely there. I'd imagine that's doing the same. You can see this is quite a big wave here. You can see the RSI is looking oversold, putting us in around the over 70. So clearly I think price may come down. If I look at if we go back to the 4 hour though, this period though, that just sat all the way underneath for quite a period of time, just running parallel to the 0 line, and so that's the reason why we never really fluctuated too much when we were consolidating. And I'll just go back and show you that consolidation here where we're going sideways. And if I go on the hourly, look at that. That's a lot of sideways movement. And there were a couple of moments that people here would have thought we're going down. Look, hit that trend line here, broke back above, stay sideways, so you can see. The only thing I'd probably say is this wasn't as big a move as I was probably expecting. I was probably expecting it to be a touch bigger, but simply only because of how long we were consolidating, here. So yeah, so some interesting periods. You can see on the RSI though, we got some interesting patterns. So you can see there's a divergence there. So we've come down, angling back up on the hourly. On the 4 hourly though, heading down, and I think that's just confirmation of the VWAP really. We'll see You can see we're still over 75. Could this angle up? Of course it could, but I think you know, I think if you want a long, really where I'd be looking to long is if when we next come down here. If we go to 2 hourly, let that load. There we go. So we're staying pretty high here. You could argue that's going up. So, you know, there's a bit of conflict between the 2 hourly and the 4 hourly really about whether we're going up or not. And these are the things that you need to wait and let things align. Let the stars align a little bit. I don't think that is particularly conclusive. One thing I probably will show you though is the role of the Keltner band here. So this is obviously on. Let me just get rid of this channel. This is obviously on cryptograph here. So one of my favorite indicators. You can see that we've moved up. We've moved up over here. And you can see how much we're pushing that band, right? Pushing that band, just getting to the outside of it there. But you know, we didn't see a big reversal. You know, you get up here and we reverse down. No. And what it's done is it's waited there for the band to start moving up. So as it moves up, right, it's still well within that band. You know, so I think this is where you can see how these bands work. I find them incredibly useful to visualize just how far price can really go before it runs out of steam, and it inevitably always does. And yet the human reactions that we have is, you know, these pumps are just going to last forever, and you know, they'll just keep on going, but they always stop at some point. They just get exhausted. There's a limit as to how much price can move in a single time period, and you can see that it needed to wait and consolidate. So we've moved, you know, the price has stayed relatively static, but we've actually moved from the outer, being outside the band, to well within it. So as we've pumped up to here, yeah, we're now getting towards the, you know, we're well into the band here, but again, you know, we're not that much further below that point. And we're now well within that band, you know. So if this goes sideways, which I'm not sure yet if it will or it won't, but let's just say it will, this band will keep on moving up, you know, because it's based on the average true range, and the average true range is obviously going up as we're going up, so it moves with us. So that's something that is worth being aware of, and it's an incredibly useful tool, really. So I think I'll probably call it there. This has probably been a longer video than I've probably really expected, but there's a lot to go through. There's a lot that's gone on. It's been incredibly packed, probably a few weeks really in the world of Bitcoin. And I think this is really, you know, it's been good to see, you know, that this was the low. You can see that divergence there. It's quite nice, which is obviously played out. You know, what are my trades at the moment? I had some swing trades that I opened back over here. So they've been open now a few weeks. What are they? Sand, Dot, Link, BNB, Cardano, and Mana. So six trades. I did, you know, open them all the way down here. And they've been accumulating steadily. I took quite a bit of profit over here, and I've pretty much just left it ever since, because, well, there's no need to take profit now. It would be a monumental task to liquidate me. I mean, you'd have to come something stupid, you know. So you know, my stop loss is so far underneath the trade, it's ridiculous. So Cardano's around 1300%, BNB just under 1300%. Sorry, it wasn't Mana, it's Sand, just over 1900%. Link, just under 1400%. Litecoin, I've obviously forgotten that one, under 1500%. So I'll say under, it's about 1473% at the moment. And then Dot is looking at 1600%. So they're all doing very, very nicely. All solid coins that you know with good fundamentals. So they're not going to disappear anytime soon. They were ridiculously. Now, did I really expect to be hitting 1900%? I really didn't. I thought we'd get over here, and I take 80% profit, and then you just sit there and see what happens. And it's now accumulating quite well. And of course, I've traded on max leverage. So, so if these keep going up, I appreciate I'm on a Bitcoin chart here, but if I was to go to Litecoin as an example, I still think under $130 is ridiculously cheap. I really do. Its all-time high is, well, that's not even its all-time high. That is go to the weekly. I don't even want to think what the percentage is, but we are so far underneath it, it's ridiculous. And same for all of those. BNB is probably the one that actually is probably closest to its all-time high compared to the others. I'm not sure about Sand, in all fairness, but I think we've got loads of upside, absolutely loads and loads of upside. So these trades, there isn't much in there, and I think there's so much upside. I'm probably not going to bother taking profit for a very long time, because I think we've got more room to go. I really do. I'm not suggesting that we're going to hit an all-time high on Litecoin, but to be honest, even getting to over here would be quite a substantial profit. And I can't even remember Litecoin. When did I enter? 102. So not quite the absolute bottom. But not too far, so that's not bad. So if you can imagine, I'm a 1,500% almost on a $25 move. Imagine trying to get up to here or something. So these have been well worth. I did make the call out. I don't think too many people in my group actually took it. Some of that might be also time of day and things like that. And I just saw a bit of a pump and a reaction, so that was very good. But I think also all those coins, good solid coins, and vastly undervalued, and I think that was really key. They would have been good spot purchases as well, to be fair, at that time, and I think that would have represented good value as well. So regardless, the leverage trades look and sound great, but in reality, these would have been good spot trades or good low leverage swing trade. So really caught those bottoms almost on that one. So pretty happy with those. So thanks very much for joining me. This is a bit longer than normal, but there was a lot to cover, a lot of interesting things, and hopefully I'll do another one very soon. Thanks a lot.